Good morning, girls. I'm Dr. Kiran Deshwal. Today, we will read the story Birthday composed by Wakam Muhammad Basir. This video is in the continuation of the previous video which I have shared on our WhatsApp group and YouTube link yesterday. Let us begin where we left yesterday. Let me sum up in brief. We know that it's the birthday of our writer and he's helpless, he's tired, he don't have any money, his lunch is also not sure, and his head is reeling, he's feeling dizzy. So what happens next we will see here. I got up and walked into the street. He gets up again and walks into the street. The CID who was following him, that CID was following me. Still he was behind him. 2 o'clock. We know that it's a clockwise description of the events of that particular day. So what happens at 2 o'clock? I was lying in the easy chair in my room, tired and helpless. A well-dressed, perfumed, strange woman came to my door. He was lying in his easy chair in his room. He was tired. He was helpless. What happens that at that time? A woman comes there. She is well-dressed. She is perfumed. And she is strange. Author doesn't know her. She came from some distant region. By her dressing sense, it can be guessed that she was a lady from far. Her hometown had been destroyed by floods, so she was begging aid. She needed some help. She looked at me with a light smile. She looked at me with her breast pressed against the doorpost. A seed of desire fell into my heart. There was nobody in the other rooms. That seed multiplied and spread into my veins and nerves. Negative thoughts comes to his mind, but somehow he controls himself. I thought I could hear the beating of my heart. His heart starts beating. It was a moment of danger. So it was a dangerous moment. He controls himself, his feelings, and replies, Sister, I have nothing with me. I'm moneyless, I'm helpless, I can't help you in any way. Go and ask someone else. I have nothing. So, if you live in such a furnished apartment and when you deny people for help of money, it is unbelievable for them. Same happens with this woman also, as her reaction was similar to those of the children who exclaimed at the reply of the author. Oh, she went away disappointed. Obviously, she needed help and the author couldn't help her. That's why it disappointed her and she returns back, walking coquettously. This was her manner. The perfume that she left behind her, it remains there in the air. It's a clockwise description. So what happens next? 3 o'clock. What if I borrow from someone? He thinks that. Why I am torturing myself? If I'm in this problem, if I don't have money, I should borrow it from someone. I will pay it back. What if I borrow from someone? But the question is that who will lend me? The exhaustion was extreme. He was tired to the extreme. A terrible helplessness. He was very helpless. Whom could I approach? From whom I should borrow? Many names come to my mind. Suggestions comes to his mind. But borrowing hurt one's self-respect. It's against one's self-respect to borrow money from someone else. Shall I kill myself? This is the extreme. We can know by his statement that how helpless and miserable he was feeling to himself, that he thinks of suicide. So it's not an easy thought. This author is very optimistic. If he is thinking of killing himself, we can know that how desperate he is, how helpless he is. So, this thought also comes to his mind, and he broods over at the concept of death. But he thinks that what would death be like? 3:30. The time passes, and the thought chain of the author progresses with the time. My tongue sank in my mouth. Obviously, he's thirsty, he's famished. What can he do? If I could immerse myself in a cool sea, he thinks that I'm burning with desires, I'm burning with helplessness, I'm burning with thirst, I'm burning with hunger. If I could immerse myself in a cool sea, why can't I immerse myself in a cool sea? As I was lying in that state, letters from some editors arrived. He is a writer, so there were letters from editors. They wanted stories by return post. So he thinks that everyone is demanding something or other from me, but no one is helping me. I don't have any helping hand at such a moment when I am in a dire need. The servant boy of bank clerk Krishna Pillai came for a matchbox. I sat him for a glass of water and drank it. The servant boy, bank clerk who lives next to the author, Krishna Pillai, his servant comes for a matchbox, and the author sends the boy for a glass of water and he drinks it. So, seeing his condition, only the people lower in status than you can understand your problem, your worries. So, seeing his face, the boy is very kind. He asks, "Isn't Master well? Aren't you well, sir?" The boy wanted to know. He wants to know. He's a concerned boy. Though he is poor, but he is kind. "I'm all right." He tries to hide his feelings from that boy and tries to pretend to be good and fine. "I'm all right," he replies. "Then hasn't Master eaten?" Looking his face, the boy, think about it. The poor boy can guess that he is hungry, but the people for whom he is writing articles, for whom he is writing letters, for whom he is supporting, aren't able to understand his condition. They don't want to help him. They don't want to understand his situation. They are not ready to help him. They are avoiding him after seeing his face. So see, from where the sympathy comes, it comes from a poor boy. Then hasn't Master eaten? No. But the author is very true to himself. We know that he is very true. He doesn't hide anything. So he replies that no, I haven't eaten anything. Why is that? Why haven't you eaten? The boy is worried. He is concerned. He asks, "Why haven't you eaten till now? It's 3:30." That little face, those dark eyes, and the blackened piece of cloth in which he was wrapped. See his poverty. See the poverty of that little urchin, of that little boy. He having a little face, having dark eyes, having a blackened piece of cloth which was not washed properly. He was waiting to know why the author has not had his food. I closed my eyes. "God, you are everywhere. There is someone who is sympathetic towards me." Gently he called me, "Sir." I opened my eyes. "I have got two annas." See the connection. The boy is able to understand. There is a mutual understanding without saying anything, without um, the author has not tell him that I don't have money, but the boy is um, we can say that he is intelligent enough to understand that the lack of money the lack of money is responsible for this, that the author has not had any food. So without asking about it or without discussing this thing, he just suggests, I have got 2 annas. So he said with embarrassed, it will be good enough if you return the money before I go home next month. We know that the boy is working as a child laborer, so he is from a far place, and he has saved this money, that whenever I will go to home, I will take the money with me. So he suggests the author that you can borrow it from me. I will go to home next month, and till next month you have time to return it to me. I was deeply touched. The author was deeply touched by his sincerity, by his helpfulness, by his kindness, by his concern. I was deeply touched. And he replies, bring it. I said, bring the money. He ran almost before he had heard me. Just then, what happens? My friend Gangadhar came in. The author's friend Gangadhar comes. He was wearing a white khadar dhoti and a white khadar jubba. It was the dress code for the revolutionist and activist at that time. And we know that at that time, India was a colony of British, so there was no freedom of press, and these people was fighting. These people were having a revolution and had a blue shawl thrown over his shoulder. So the dressing sense of this activist was also marvelous and outstanding. He had a grave look on his full face, seeing me lying unconcernedly. If you are lying helplessly, if you are lying doing nothing, it seems like you are unconcerned about anything. Seeing me lying unconcernedly in the easy chair, this leader said to me, you have become very bourgeois. Bourgeois was very famous ideology at that time. Communist ideology was very famous at that time. Everyone was fighting for the rights of the poor folks, for the rights of the peasants. Although my head was reeling, he was feeling dizzy, I laughed. He wants to say that, how can you say that I'm not in a condition to get up because I had not had my lunch yet. Then that's why he laughs. I wondered who owned the clothes that this leader was wearing, because he is also as poor as I am. But if he is wearing such fine clothes, might he might also have been borrowed them from someone else. The picture of every national worker known to me passed before my mind's eye. Oh my God, they are wearing fine and beautiful dresses, but God knows from whom they have borrowed these dresses, because all of them are moneyless. All of them are dependent on each other. Why are you laughing? Gangadhar asked. Oh, nothing, son. I just laugh seeing this ensemble of yours. I'm laughing at your dress. Stop joking and listen to me. There is a great trouble. Some 3,000 workers. We know that he is a communist and he is at the side of the worker. He is at the side of the workers. He fights for the rights of the workers. Some 3,000 workers have gone on strike. It was usual at that time. Whenever they fought for their right, they used the medium of strike. They have been starving for a week and a half. There may be great trouble. How is it that I did not read about this in newspaper? If this is such a great event, why is it so that I haven't heard about it? There is an order that newspapers must not report it. As I told you, India was a colony of British at that time. We were not free. We were under the government. We were under the rule of British government. So there was ban on the freedom of press. That's fine. Well, what do you expect me to do about it? What can I do for this? There is a public meeting in this connection. In this regard, we have held a public meeting. Will be held. I'm the chairman. Gangadhar is the chairman. Gangadhar will chair that meeting. So he had come for money. I need an ara for ferry fare to get there because I don't have money. I haven't eaten anything so far. Still, let us see. Wait a moment. So he's dependent on the author, and we know that the author also doesn't have any money. But as the boy has given him 2 annas, so he will manage all this. Then Gangadhar spoke about the working men, why they are striking, the national workers and the government. I spoke about newspaper editors and writers. There was a formal chit chat between them. Formal conversation takes place between them. Meanwhile, the little boy returned. I took 1 anna from him and asked him to get tea, bidi, and dosa with the other. Thanks for watching. We will be continue in our next video.